Also, another anniversary, technically, not an anniversary, but it's exactly 1,000 days since the very first episode of the show Thinking Logically aired, or was recorded, I guess, in July of 2022, when it was just a simple, basic podcast on Apple. Go ahead, Ryan. You get a round of applause. Thank you. We've come so far through 2 presidents, maybe 3. We don't know who was real. Maybe 5. We don't know who was all president for the last 4 years before Trump. It could have been a bunch of people. But it is 1,000 days since the first show. A lot when you think back of everything that's happened since July of 2022 when COVID was still an everyday, the vaccine, all those fun things, contact tracing we used to talk about. Now, tariffs, the country, Nazis. That's what we cover now in 2025, 1,000 days later. So some topics for today. The tariffs. You got to remember, everyone is pissed about these tariffs, apparently. All the experts. Stock market melting down. Heaven forbid the stock market has melted down. Fathers. Did you know that fathers are being deported from Maryland to an El Salvadorian torture prison? That's happening here in America. Did you know that? We're going to get in that too. The term of the day. Hit them with a tariff. That's all. I just want to talk tariffs all day. But before we get into anything, I want to read a tweet from DC Drano. Because we kind of get lost in everything that's been happening in the last couple months. It's been too much. It's been a wave. But he says this. Here's a quick refresher on where we're at. He gives 20 points. Border is now closed. MS-13 and Trinidad are being deported. No more men and women's sports. Food prices going down. Gas prices going down. Housing becoming more affordable. Inflation going down. $5 trillion in new investments in America. No more DEI. Hundreds of billions in government spending of fraud stopped. Countries removing tariffs against us. No Ukraine money sent. Ukraine peace deal on the table. Ukraine hostages returned. American hostages returned. Free speech on social media restored. Fentanyl being stopped at the border. Justin Trudeau going, gone. Law firms punished for DEI. Universities being punished for DEI. And the JFK files released. Just apparently no one wants to read 70,000 pages. They're all just like we're in high school, Ryan. We're hoping for someone else to do the homework. All right. Let's talk about tariffs. They're technically not even in effect yet. Some of them don't go into effect, I think, 10% until Friday. And then most of the ones that Trump has talked about don't go into effect, I think, until Tuesday or Wednesday. But Trump said this. This is the statement. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionally the wealthiest it has ever been. Then, in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax. We are going to start being smart, and we are going to start being wealthy again. He's right, and I can't wait. Like we've been saying, there is going to be some pain. You have to understand, we were on a full fiat money system with total trade deficits coming from every country. That's all going to change. And think about this, audience. If Trump's tariff plan is successful, income taxes will be no more. Imagine what that'll do to our economy. That'll stimulate our economy a second time. It'd be like punching into 5th or 6th gear. You get to keep all your money and spend it wherever you want. Whatever money gets sent to Ukraine from now on is going to be coming from other countries anyway. It doesn't matter. You've all heard the term, audience, Great Reset. That's kind of what this is, but in a good way. What we are seeing is a global trade reset. Please, just give this some time and you will see firsthand. You have a front row seat as an American. What better time to be alive than right now? For the first time in modern history, a U.S. president is truly trying to overhaul the economy for the better. We're bringing jobs back. It's not just talk. We're actually doing it. Remember also, the focus of these tariffs, it's not on raw materials or fine components needed to have production in this country. It's on finished products. We're going to benefit in so many ways from this. Interest rates and inflation will go down because of tariffs, not up. The reason, let's think about it. The reason's simple. Eventually, they're going to cause a giant influx of investment in the United States and thus a rise in the value of dollar. You're already seeing it with the $5 trillion. Imagine what that $5 trillion invested in America is going to be worth in 5 years. Well, since this like the second or third day of his administration, maybe even before, he was trotting out and parading around business leaders from Japan, other countries, vowing to invest in America. When have you seen that before? When have you seen a president do that? Again, $5 trillion. Do the experts not realize how beneficial that will be to our country? God forbid we try to at least bring back manufacturing to the country. Get ready. We're taking back our economic sovereignty. No one is getting a free pass anymore. When I say no one, I'm talking about countries. We're not paying for NATO's defense while every country in it kills us in trade while enjoying their 60-day paid vacations and their free health care. You know, they work like 30 hours a week in Europe and they get summers off. Preschool teachers have a harder, more difficult work schedule. Let's go over the tariffs percentage-wise, highest to lowest. So we got Cambodia coming in at 49%, Vietnam 46, Sri Lanka 44, China 34, Taiwan 32, Indonesia 32, Switzerland 31, South Africa 30, Pakistan 30, India 26, Canada 25, Korea 25, Japan 24%, Israel 17, European Unions get 20. Minimum tariff on all imports, 10% on all imports. No ands, ifs, or buts. You know what that means? The Trump administration has put a 10% tariff on everything, everyone. That means there are countries and lands. Let me read some of these. Yeah. 10% tariff on the Heard Islands and the McDonald Islands, which has a population of 0 people. It's only inhabited by penguins. But damn if they're not going to pay a tariff, them penguins. Where else? 10% tariff on the island of Svalbard. I believe that's in the North Sea by Russia, maybe. I don't know. They have a higher polar bear population than human. Oh, well, good. Polar bears are paying the tariffs, not humans, I guess. Imagine turning on the television, though, in the future and seeing Zelensky in the Oval Office, this time finally in this nice black and white tuxedo suit. Except you squint and you realize, hey, that's not Zelensky in a suit. That's actually a baby penguin trying to get tariffs lowered in this country. He never wears a suit. Come on. Okay. We're already seeing countries wave the white flag. Thailand, they negotiated with the U.S. on a 36% imposed tariffs. I believe Mexico, the president of Mexico, Sheinbaum, I can't remember what her name is. It's nothing that sounds Spanish or Mexican, though. Sheinbaum, I think she already negotiated. They're coming to kiss the ring. But instead of the media putting their focus on countries kissing the ring, bending the knee, we'll use bending the knee, all we hear is about how the stock market's doing. Nike. Ryan, have you heard of Nike?
I think I might have heard of them once or twice.
Well, they're a company that, I don't know if you know, sells shoes via child slave labor. Remember the Chappelle Show, Cribs?
Absolutely.
That was genius right there. Moving the sweatshop into your own house. Now, Nike's a company that uses child slave labor. And their stock, for some reason, Ryan, isn't doing so hot the last few days. But what the media ignores is, take a company like Nike. They have nearly 500,000 employees working at Vietnamese factories. Vietnam now has a 40% tariff rate, 46% tariff rate. Now, does it make sense to produce a shoe that costs $1 to make, but has to take a boat ride from Vietnam all the way around probably South Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, and then be sold here in America to the American people for $200 a shoe? No! If only there was some way, some method to have a system where the Viet Cong doesn't have to be a slave and an American can have a decent paying factory job making shoes. It's possible. Don't tell me it's not possible. We have 37 trillion in debt. I actually have to look it up and make sure it's not 38. 37 trillion. It's time we stop eating out and start making dinner at home. How does that sound, audience? Hell, we haven't been even ordering out. We're actually ordering Uber Eats and DoorDash. We can't afford to have these trade deficits anymore. I'll give you another one. Ford Motor Company. For the next couple of months, this is what they're saying. For the next couple of months, we're going to offer our customers the same deal that our employees get. That's worth thousands of dollars. So every American gets an employee discount. That's amazing because Ford actually builds its cars in Mexico for some reason and ships them back here. But now they're giving everyone a discount? Why the hell would they do that? They can't do that. Ford cannot give a discount. They're supposed to pass the excess prices onto the consumer. That's what all the experts told us for the last couple of weeks. They told us tariffs will be passed onto the consumers as massive taxes. So why is Ford doing this? Why are they? I don't know. Some countries, they're not going to play ball. Some companies probably won't too. A country that's not going to play ball, France. French President Emmanuel Macron. European firms, he urges the European firms to halt their investment in the United States. Let me know how it works out, Trudeau. Let me know how it works out. All right, let's look at some winners here so far in the early days of the tariff, the trade war. United States, domestic industries like steel, aluminum, automotive, awesome. Less foreign competition. India negotiated tariff reductions on U.S. imports, so that's a win for them. Mexico did the same thing. USMCA compliant goods are exempted. Canada, similar to Mexico. Vietnam, despite high tariffs, its competitive manufacturing may still attract U.S. companies seeking alternatives to China. Some of the losers. China faces a massive 54% effective tariff, severely impacting trade. I think we have a call here. If that's the case, it could. Is it a special guest? If it's our special guest, play the intro music for our special guest on our 1-year anniversary. Ryan, go ahead and play the intro music. Give it 1 second, and I'm going to introduce the guest here. It is. Whoa, Grananetti, banna, banna, whoa, Grananetti, banna, banna, Grananetti had a child, banna, banna. Mark, welcome back.
Happy anniversary, Joe. I had to call in on our 1-year anniversary of this wonderful show.
How are you, man? How are things? How's the newborn? Well, I guess it's not newborn anymore.
Things are great, Joe. You know, having 2 kids, it's a game changer, but I had to call in today. I miss you and Ryan, and I wanted to talk tariffs, too.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. You called it at the perfect time.
Well, let me just slide in real quick. I do want to say congratulations to you, Mark. I haven't had a chance to talk to you, and I do want to say congratulations to both you guys on the show. So very excited to be a part of what you guys are doing. And again, Mark, I hope we get to see that baby before he's 20 or so.
Well, Ryan asked, and I never split it. He wanted to know, Ryan wanted to know, boy, girl, or are you letting the kindergarten teacher decide?
We're going to pick a gender out of a hat.
But no, congratulations to both you fellas.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
But yeah, Mark, we were talking tariffs. Ford bent the knee when we were told that that'll never happen, ever. So.
Yeah, Ford's giving employee pricing to all Americans, Joe, for the next couple of months, right?
They are. And you know what? Me and my family are going to be in the market for a new car maybe in the next 6 or 8 months. So I don't know how long this is going to last, but.
And I have a question, and I need an answer to it. Why is it okay for other countries to slap tariffs on U.S.-made goods, but it's not okay for us to tariff other countries' goods coming into the United States? Joe, can you answer that for me?
Well, let's answer it. Who is saying it's not okay? All the experts are saying it's not okay. All the people in the media are saying it's not okay. And they're saying it's not okay for numerous reasons. And the scariest reason is because it's going to crash the economy and crash the stock market. But Mark, you remember 8 years ago, we were told in 2017, Trump's going to crash the economy, crash the stock market. What happened until February of 2020? It was beautiful.
Everything that they told us, Joe, has been a lie. So why should we believe them now? And them, as you said, is the legacy media fake news. I'm not believing it. I'm not buying it. Let's let and see how this plays out. And let's just give Trump some time, because this is what we voted for. This is what he ran on.
This is what we voted for. This is no surprise, too. They act like the tariffs are some big shock, like he unveiled this like a painting. We knew this. Like, he talked about tariffs the entire campaign. He talked about tariffs when you go back and you look at like him talking about trade in the early 2000s and late 90s. It's the same thing. China owns us. China kills us. This country kills us. Why is anyone surprised?
No one should be surprised. But let me explain to our listeners how tariffs work. So, as you know, I had a wine importing business before.
Yes.
So how tariffs work are this. Whenever you import something in the United States, the importer pays Customs and Border Patrol a duty tax. In this case, they'll be paying, hopefully, the External Revenue Service that they're going to create. So one of three things could happen with tariffs. Either I could go to my supplier in Italy and say, hey, give me a 20% discount or a 10% discount on the product, whatever, that I'm importing. He could say no, and I could say, okay. So I could either eat that cost or I could pass that on to the consumer. So those are the three things that could really happen. So let's just see what happens here.
Or you could...
I don't think it's going to be a massive inflation. They talk about inflation, Joe, like this is going to cause massive price hikes. What did we just experience for the last 4 years? 40% of all the dollars in circulation today were printed from 2020 to 2024.
That was transitory inflation. What are you talking about? Remember, we were sold that set of lies for 3 years. It's just transitory.
Yeah, another lie. Well, how do you think this is going to play out? I've seen projections this is going to raise $700 billion of revenue.
How do I think it's going to play out? Well, you already take the $5 trillion that's coming into America. Imagine what that investment alone, the $5 trillion that Trump already set up in business deals. Imagine what that investment in America alone is going to be worth in a decade. You got to look at it.
Right.
Look at it because this is a trade war. Okay, so look at it in terms of war. You don't win the war when you overrun France like the Germans, like the Nazis did. You have to win on all fronts. General Washington lost every battle for pretty much a year straight. Did he not? Did he not? And then all of a sudden, victory begot victory. Victory begot victory. Once Trump makes the economy in America great again, just I don't know. We're going to be able to do whatever we want then. But like I have to say, think of it as a war. Think of it as a war. The first 6 months. The first 6 months.
A major reset. But, Joe, we've been getting ripped off for years. Should we just keep going down the same path of $2 trillion deficits every year and having trade deficits with every single country on planet Earth? Should we just keep doing that?
Some people in the media and our government have, because they're getting kickbacks from it. So why not? Yeah. We've been getting screwed over and over again. How many times do the American people ever get a bailout? They're worried about the stock market now? The stock market got a bailout. All the banks get bailouts anyway. They shouldn't be worried. We, the American people, are the ones that have any skin in the game, have always had the skin in the game since as long as we've been alive.
Every steel mill you see shut down, every factory you see shuttered, those are a result of outsourcing our manufacturing and our labor to countries across the world. How many how many American cars do you see on the streets of Europe, Joe? Not many. Why is that?
Because it's almost impossible to sell them there, and they won't let you sell them there. Because
and
of
tariffs on incoming American goods.
Because of tariffs. Listen, this is a good, piggybacking off what you said, from Battle Beagle on X. I witnessed entire American towns economically destroyed over decades because they couldn't compete with child labor and dollar wages. My empathy meter is negative. Right? Right? That's exactly how I feel. It's time we start taking care of America first.
That's exactly what this is designed to do. So, as they say, let Trump cook, and let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Did you see while he was talking, CNN, they brought back the orange filter to make him look more orange?
I did see that.
What do you expect from CNN? They did the same thing with Joe Rogan to make him look more sick. Remember, that was, I think, one of our first episodes because he used ivermectin. They put everything, put a horse name on him.
There is no level they won't stoop to.
Changing someone's skin color is pretty low.
Did you see the video on X today of Nancy Pelosi back from, I think it was back in the 1990s?
Yeah, I'm actually
about tariffs and trade deficits with China.
I actually put it on the board. I'm going to talk about it in the last segment. I couldn't get the audio bite from Mays Moore, but I'll read. I have it somewhere here. I know I do, but I'll read it later in the show.
I believe Trump has totally broken the Democratic Party.
Yeah, he definitely did. He broke the Democratic Party. He broke them all. The media machine, all of them. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to attack him. It's just the old attacks aren't working anymore. It's not. What else did I want to get in here? Some of these. Let me read his tweet, and you tell me if the operation. This is from Donald Trump on True Social. The operation is over. The patient lived and is healing. The prognosis is that the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, and more resilient than ever before. Make America great again. He's talking about what's going on now in the stock market with the tariffs and everything else. We'll survive, and we're going to come back so much stronger.
The stock market, I mean, this is a dip. This wasn't a crash. I mean, now, who knows what will happen in the coming weeks and months, but today, I would think the worst of it would be felt today, but it really wasn't that bad.
It could be next week because most of them big tariffs go in, I think, next Tuesday or Wednesday. Did you see OPEC announced they're increasing production and oil dropped 6%? I wonder if that had anything to do with these tariffs, or it could be just dumb luck. Lower oil prices does mean lower inflation, right? What else? Oh,
yeah, energy.
I have to say this because you're on the line, and someone else has to laugh with me. Did you see that Congress rolled in Mitch McConnell to vote against the tariffs? They literally wheeled him into the wheelchair to vote.
I saw that he was a yes on that, but I didn't see that he was wheeled in on a wheelchair.
They wheeled him in and then back out to the car. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah. All right.
Unbelievable.
Are you going to stay around for any more segments, or do you got to go?
I can stick around for one more segment.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll mention one more thing about tariffs, and we're going to get into Cory Booker and some other things. Stay tuned. Listen to Thinking Logically on 99.3 FM, WBVP. It's Joe again from Thinking Logically, here to tell you about one of my favorite clothing items, the MyPillow hoodie. Two things I love the most about this hoodie are how it fits and how it feels. This hoodie is extremely roomy, and its terry cloth material makes it lighter than any other hoodie I own. Use promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings. The MyPillow hoodie. Get yours today. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Gullah with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Gullah of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond. Hey everyone, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about one of my favorite places to eat, Bowser's Restaurant in Monaca. I'm a big fan of their 2-meat plate. Sometimes I get it with the pulled pork, and sometimes I get it with ribs, but I always get it with their amazing brisket. Don't forget to try all their smokehouse sides as well. Takeout and catering available too. Again, that's Bowser's Restaurant at 1493 Old Broadhead Road in Monaca.
Tri-State Sporting Arms on Main Street in New Brighton is now open. Stop in and explore their extensive selection of high-quality firearms, pistols, and accessories. Tri-State Sporting Arms also pays top dollar for used firearms. Their experienced and highly trained staff is here to assist you in selecting the right firearm for you. Stop on down to Beaver County's newest firearm store, Tri-State Sporting Arms, at 807 3rd Avenue, New Brighton, or check them out on Facebook.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logic here on 99.3 FM WBVP. The first segment we were talking all about tariffs, and just want to remind our audience, once these tariffs are in full effect and Trump finally makes the economy in America great again, we can finally start arresting some of these criminals like Dr. Fauci, Hunter Biden, all these criminals. Finally, once America is great, we can finally do that. We got to do this in the right order. It has to be done in the right order. And Mark, you're still there. One of the things to do in the right order would be to deport all the illegal gang members, right, that are here illegally. That's like a good first step here.
Yeah, are they afforded due process of the law, Joe, or what? What's Judge Boasberg going to say about this?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, he's the highest power in the land. No matter what we do, it goes down to Judge Boasberg. And who's to say he won't get a fifth or a sixth Trump decision? He seems to be the only one in the wheel that seems to be getting Trump cases. Weirdest thing ever. Did you see about that?
Yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, send them all back. Were you going to mention the Maryland dad, quote unquote?
Yeah, that's the story we're eventually leading into. And it's from the Atlantic. The story came from the Atlantic, the same outlet that gave us that garbage story about the Signal Gate. Well, just out of curiosity, because I don't know how much you follow the news anymore. What did you hear about this? I love how they call him the Maryland father. He's from El Salvador. He's the Maryland dad got sent to a mega prison in El Salvador mistakenly. That's not what happened. He mistakenly came here, I think. He's a verified MS-13 gang leader tied to human trafficking.
Your boy Jamie Raskin was calling for them to be brought back. He called them gangbangers. He said, bring them all back.
What? Why would you want them back on our shores?
Yeah, so the Maryland dad story from the Atlantic, they framed this guy out to be just some regular dad from Maryland that got accidentally deported to, what's that prison in El Salvador called?
They're just calling it a torture prison, I believe. I'm being serious.
Yeah, where they fillet your skin like Reek on Game of Thrones.
The House Bolton is running the prison at the Dreadfort. It's called the Dreadfort. That's what it's called.
In the meantime, this guy was here illegally. He was a member of MS-13, and he had no right to be in this country.
You would think that this would be something that our leaders could agree on.
No, they can't even agree the fact that he was. Oh, hold on, let me read what I wrote down that I thought was just absolutely asinine. They said that people were saying, this is media outlets, that Camar Abreu Garcia was never convicted of being an MS-13 member. And this is just a news flash for anyone listening. You don't get convicted of being a member of a gang. That's not why you go to jail. You don't get convicted of doing that. And if you did, we could just arrest any person wearing red or blue in crypt or blood neighborhoods because they're in a gang. We could just arrest them, right? Mark, I hate to bring this up while you're here because you just had a kid, but they keep on using the narrative. What is it? He had a child. He had a son. And they took it away.
I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy.
I had to play the clip from There Will Be Blood. I'm sorry, but he didn't. That's not how it happened. He committed a crime by being in the country illegally. So he did. He abandoned his child. Did he not?
That's how I understand it and how it went down. But I like to see the deportations pick up a little bit.
Well, remember, we're not exactly going on the streets and just picking people off the streets. These are targeted, I think. I think these are all targeted. And more importantly, border crossings are literally at zero after Joe Biden said he couldn't do it unless you passed that bipartisan bill that he always talks about. Well, it looks like Trump did it without any help from Congress with just executive action. It's amazing. It's all amazing to me.
Yeah, so who needs the SAVE Act when all you could do is do what Trump did?
Exactly. The SAVE Act was a Trojan horse, though. So we dodged a bullet with that one.
Absolutely.
So J.D. Vance, this is why he's awesome. So he put out this big tweet talking about, like, this guy was an MS-13 gang member, this, that. And then he also says that he has traffic violations. Okay, that's just part of the reason why he was deported. That's like one of 10 reasons. That's a throw-in. That's like in an NFL trade for a draft pick. When you just throw in that 7th round compensatory pick there. That's all that. This is from Mediaite. Let me read it. Not exactly Father of the Year, J.D. Vance cites traffic violations to justify wrongly imprisoning a migrant in El Salvador. They ignored everything else J.D. Vance said. They focused on the traffic violations and not the fact this man was a gang member.
Can you imagine if we had an honest media in this country?
It would make it would make politics less fun, but at least we'd have a proper country. Like, this is ridiculous. I feel like everything is like high school rumors. You don't know what to believe, and you believe just none of it because it's all fake.
Everything. I've sent you so much stuff over the last couple of weeks. Story after story of just nonsense.
Like, the judges, we elected Trump to do this. The president of the United States is the only office voted on by the entire nation. Yet for some reason, judges are trying to stop him from doing his electoral branch duty, like keeping the country safe from illegal gang members. Mark, do you think, and I'm being serious, do you think some of these judges are compromised? Because if you remember, Brett Kavanaugh was accused of having his credit cards paid off by, we don't even know, they just said like dark forces or something. But for some reason, no one in the media cares about one judge hitting the judicial jackpot. What are the odds? It's like casino with the slot manager. 4 Trump cases.
Just like Juan Merchan got all the cases in New York. What are the odds of that?
It's a good point. That's a good point.
Joe, I mean, this could go on forever. I mean, they just judge shop and they file these lawsuits. And somehow, some way, they get these favorable judges, these Biden or Obama appointed judges, to hear these cases. I mean, how is this continuing?
I don't know, but they're exposed. Like, we talk in private, they're just exposing themselves. Like, me and you see it. How long until everyone sees it? Like, it's got to be at least 40-50% of the country that knows they're exposing themselves. They're criminal, illegal aliens. What do you want them flying back here for?
Well, I think you're on the right track with that, because I believe I saw today, or was it yesterday, Democrats in Congress have a 26% approval rating.
But yet, we'll get into that a little bit. But yet somehow they won the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. Democrats have such a low approval rating, but they're somehow still win elections here and there. We'll get into that later. I don't want to jump ahead, but you're right. You're right. Do you think their approval rating has anything to do with what Cory Booker did on Tuesday?
I would love to know how he pulled that off. How do you not go to the bathroom one time in 25 hours?
Mark, we did it during St. Patrick's Day. You used the condom catheters and you just put it down the leg pant. That's all. Hey, listen, peeing on the floor of the Senate judiciary hearing is not worse than what that intern did, with the, I can't even say it on radio, the intercourse that he had on the desk. So peeing on the Senate floor wouldn't have been that bad. I would have let him do it.
Agree.
So Frank Luntz, who I can't stand, he's a pollster. He said what Cory Booker did may have changed the future course of political history. Mark, name a single memorable thing Cory Booker said. Anyone call in and name one thing in 25 hours and 10 minutes, or however long it was. Name one thing that he said that was memorable.
Some of the clips of him, like an hour, like 20 through 25, were amazing. He was actually losing his mind. He was delirious.
I wonder if that's why they keep the cocaine in the White House library. That's it. We just figured it out. For situations like that, when you got to filibuster for 25 hours, first of all, you're supposed to filibuster over like a law or like some. You don't just filibuster nobody just filibusters just to filibuster like Rick James would say. You don't just filibuster just to filibuster.
Speaking of filibuster, Joe, I got to ask you, since we're on Beaver County radio, what are the Beaver County Democrats protesting Saturday outside the courthouse? Hands off. What are they protesting?
I don't know. Was it hands off their money? Are they talking about? They don't even know what they're protesting. They're not organized.
They don't. The Beaver County Democrats are completely lost. They're going to protest outside the Beaver County courthouse about hands off Social Security. Who's cutting Social Security, Joe? Has anyone said that?
No, but I guess if you say a lie over and over enough, people will believe it's true. I believe a Nazi said that, or someone, maybe. I don't know.
These people are completely delusional. I'm so glad I freed myself from that organization.
I'll tell you, in an alternate reality, you were actually on the steps of the courthouse with a sign, completely brainwashed, with just a complete flat affect, nothing.
and had an epiphany.
You'd be up there with Cory Booker, filibustering men's and women's sports, open borders, illegals.
Cory Booker seems like it's like a reasonable dude, but he's just completely taken over by the Democrats.
Yeah. Former high school tight end. That was the last time he was probably cool. All right, let's cover the Wisconsin election before we go to a break here. So, Mark, Wisconsin voters really just voted to have voter ID requirements 60% to 40% or 60 to 39, but they chose a radical left Democrat judge by like 2 or 3 points. Should Doge look into this? I'm being serious. I'm not accusing anyone of election fraud or anything, but I'm just saying the Democrat approval rating is very low.
What passed? Voter ID.
Yes.
Is now enshrined into the Wisconsin Constitution. So it is now an official law in Wisconsin. You have to show ID to vote. Democrats and voter ID don't go together. Normally, Democrats would have voted no for that because they think voter ID is racist. So when I saw this was going to pass, I was a little bit hopeful, but yeah.
When I saw it 60%, I said 60%. I said, well, this is over. There's no way the Republican Senate or Supreme Court seat can get lost, or not Supreme Court, Wisconsin court seat could be lost, and he lost, and he didn't. This just shows you that maybe there was no funny business. Maybe people were just are in a lull right now, and you can't just say, hey, this guy's MAGA, go out and vote for him. It's not how it works. We got to do like we did in 2024 for every single election, no matter how big or how small.
Yeah. I mean, we can't take these races for granted. This is what worries me, Joe. I mean, we saw a district in PA that was heavily red in Lancaster went Democrat in the state Senate.
Yeah.
So the state Senate here in PA went from 28-22 to now 27-23. But we can't take these things for granted. People show up to vote for Trump. What's going to happen in the midterms? I'm very worried that we're going to have low turnout and we're going to lose seats we should win.
And we got to get the money out of politics. Did you see what Jake Tapper said on TV about Elon? Let me see if I...
No.
So Jake Tapper, he had an issue. I think it was a picture of Elon wearing the cheese head. So he had an issue with that. And when discussing Elon's Wisconsin involvement, Jake Tapper said, you don't see George Soros out there talking, right? I mean, they might be giving money to organizations, but he's not out there. So Jake Tapper suggested billionaires should just stay in the background and be quiet and just quietly manipulate stuff rather than be like Elon Musk and be transparent in the public doing the endorsements. Does that make any sense to you at all? Is that what you want?
The Democrats think it's okay for Reid Hoffman, George Soros, and J.B. Pritzker and all their other billionaire buddies to do what they do behind the scenes, but it's not okay for Elon Musk to support Republicans. Make that make sense.
And Elon Musk is trying to save the planet 2 or 3, 4 years ago with electric cars, which everyone was on board for. And people actually bought. Now they're getting firebombed.
Imagine if Elon Musk bought 200 radio stations across the country. The outcry that there would be.
Oh, you're right. And people, honestly, I forgot George Soros even did that until you brought it back up.
I thought it was mildly entertaining, guys. I don't know what event it was, but did you see just in the past few days where Elon on TV actually called out George Soros by name?
Yeah.
I thought you don't see that. You don't hear. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool to see him pull that off.
Yeah, I did. They started booing him, and he no fear.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know George Soros still.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
So I thought that was cool.
All right, we got to take another break. Mark, it's up to you. You can hang out as long as you want, or if you got to go, you got to go.
I'm going to take off. Good talking to you guys, and again, congratulations on the 1-year anniversary.
Stop back whenever. I don't want people to think that you were a part of the USAID cuts, Mark. Just stop back whenever.
I'll be calling in again.
All right, and tell your family we said hello. We love you guys.
Take it easy,
cheers.
brother.
All right, bye-bye. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a new book called Fight, about Joe Biden and fluorescent tape. You'll be able to figure out what it's about when we return here to 99.3 FM WBVP.
It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Gullah with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Gullah of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond. It's Joe again from Thinking Logically, here to tell you about one of my favorite clothing items, the MyPillow hoodie. Two things I love the most about this hoodie are how it fits and how it feels. This hoodie is extremely roomy, and its terry cloth material makes it lighter than any other hoodie I own. Use promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings. The MyPillow hoodie. Get yours today.
Tri-State Sporting Arms on Main Street in New Brighton is now open. Stop in and explore their extensive selection of high-quality firearms, pistols, and accessories. Tri-State Sporting Arms also pays top dollar for used firearms. Their experienced and highly trained staff is here to assist you in selecting the right firearm for you. Stop on down to Beaver County's newest firearm store, Tri-State Sporting Arms, at 807 3rd Avenue, New Brighton, or check them out on Facebook.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically, brought to you by So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing. Remember, whether you need your house washed, driveway clean, patio done, fences, gutters, you name it, call Dave from So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing at 724-252-4489. That's 724-252-4489. They're fully insured and offer free estimates. So what are you waiting for? Don't be the outcast in your neighborhood with a dirty deck or house. Call So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing today. Okay, Ryan, you a big book guy? You read a lot of books, audiobooks, any kind of books?
Off and on. I'm not a huge book guy, but I do like to read.
So there's a new book out about Biden. Apparently there's all these books that come out about the Biden administration, literally weeks, months after. It's called Flight, Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House. In this book, it's claimed that Biden's team placed fluorescent tape on the floor while at a private home so the president knew where he was supposed to walk. His staff went through all this, but apparently it was of no help because he still messed it up. Ryan, the question I have for you, do you think it would have been better if they would have used a laser pointer aimed at the floor? Like he was
Like a cat.
All this, it's still like that would have been the next best thing. I would have said, okay, let's try the laser pointer. We can guide him. It's not just tape that stays there. We can guide him with the laser pointer. Maybe he'll bend over and start to try crawl at it or something. I don't know. But all this, and at no point did anyone in the Democrat Party think it might not be a good idea to let that train wreck, that Amtrak Joe train wreck, continue on as president. I guess they did it not as the nominee. They did at least that much. But the Dems were fine with a man that needed fluorescent paint to know where he was going. At the same time, you can't really expect Joe Biden to know what the arrows or X's are there for anyway. I mean, even when, remember COVID, you to go like down the one aisle, the arrows that way. No one ever pays attention to them. What are you going to do? All right, on to the Biden son, Hunter Biden. So apparently the FBI didn't just cover up the Hunter Biden laptop. They also leaked to the AP that it was a Russian op with apparently no evidence, because there never was any evidence of that. This comes from, I guess, internal chat logs that were released. So the FBI placed a gag order on discussions regarding Hunter Biden's laptop after an employee inadvertently verified its authenticity to Twitter. Hans Maukel posted this on X and said, the FBI didn't just cover up the fact that Hunter Biden's laptop was real. They also sent someone to the AP, the Associated Press, to falsely leak that it was a Russian plot. That leak happened less than 5 years ago, meaning it could still be prosecuted. It must be, or nothing changes. Again, now that we can see the FBI internal chat logs that were released by the House Judiciary, we know that the FBI knew the whole time it wasn't from Russia. So who told them to say Russia? Christopher Wray, you got some splaining to do, buddy. Oh, who else has some splaining to do? Well, no. Oh, I ruined it. I ruined the story. Another worthless government employee has been fired, this time from the NIH. And that person is Christine Grady, who you probably don't have any idea who she is. That's Dr. Fauci's wife.
Oh, wow.
She was fired from NIH. I think she's a nurse. She's like 72. Why are you still working as a nurse if you're 72? I forget what her job is at NIH. But what took so long? I mean, we're 60 days in. Whatever. It's funny because I guess during the pandemic, Fauci's wife, Christine Grady, offered nurses a choice. Get vaccinated or lose your job. And apparently she got a phone call on Monday or Tuesday or yesterday saying, you have a choice. You could transfer to the office in Alaska where the weather is not so beautiful, or you can lose your job. Well, she's 72 years old. She should be retired. I hope she decided to take the L. You don't want to go to Alaska. And besides, no one wants to listen to you anyway. Let me read this Freedom of Act information email exchange that Grady had with her husband, Dr. Fauci. So remember, she was NIH. Her husband was NIAID, I believe. So this is from January 15th, 2021. This email exchange. And let me pull it up. Oh, they just sent the fact that 23 died in Norway after receiving the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. Why would she send that to Dr. Fauci? And after, this is January of 2021. I would love to know if there's anything else in that email exchange, I'm sorry. Oh, what else we have to get through here? How much time we have? We got a couple more minutes for the next segment. We'll go with Anna Paulina Luna. So she was pushing for a rule change in the U.S. House of Representatives to allow proxy voting for new parents. Doesn't sound that bad. You know, you have a kid, you poop out a kid, maybe you get 12 weeks at home with any other company. Should it be the same for a congressperson? So this would enable members of Congress who have recently given birth or whose spouses have recently given birth, or if you're transgender, I just don't even know how that would work. Regardless, we'll cross that bridge later if we need to. So it allows them to designate another member of Congress to cast votes on their behalf for a limited period of up to 12 weeks, whether unable to be physically present in D.C. due to childbirth or a related recovery. It didn't pass, though, audience. And Anna Paulina Luna, she wasn't happy. She posted this. Leadership said they will not consider at all allowing female members to vote when recovering from childbirth, period. Now, not now, not ever. This is wrong. Well, she's actually wrong because that's not technically what leadership told her. Leadership told her she couldn't give her vote away to someone else. And the last Refuge on X, great account to follow, they posted this and they made a good point. If a congresswoman doesn't have to go to D.C. to vote, they can just sell their vote in real time to the highest bidder and triple their income without ever leaving the house. The government can be fully automated and people will stop knowing specifically who their representative is. It's a pretty smart plan. And he's right. And that's why we can't allow it, sadly. It's good for women that just had kids. But again, we got a country to save. Elon's not leaving Dodge. Caroline Levitt, that was another story, fake news, got squashed. Caroline Levitt has just confirmed that the media report about Elon Musk stepping down was false. She stated Musk and Trump have publicly stated that Musk will leave public service as a special government employee once his remarkable work at Doge is complete. And we gotta take a break, but we haven't heard anything from Dan Bongino, the new deputy director of the FBI. He finally put a tweet out and he said this, and tell me if it scares you. Remember, this is deputy director of the FBI. He says, just because you don't immediately see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Scary. And I think that's what I tell my wife when she asks if I put away last year's Christmas decorations. Honey, just because you don't immediately see it doesn't mean it isn't happening as we have our tree still up in March. I'm just kidding. But we used to leave the tree up until mid-January. Late January. Maybe it's Serbian Christmas. I don't know. I do know we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to cover a sad story. 17-year-old was stabbed at a track meet. What's happened in this country? Stay tuned. Listen to Thinking Logic here on 99.3 FM WBVP.
Listen to WBVP and 99.3 FM each Monday through Friday for the obituaries presented by Beaver Cemetery. Announcements will be made at 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. The obituaries will announce the loss of our loved ones to the community, along with other important related information. The obituaries every Monday through Friday on WBVP and 99.3 FM at 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. Visit beavercountyradio.com for more information. Brought to you by the Beaver Cemetery.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to what was a jam-packed show. We had former, I don't know if I should say former, host on break, Mark Grananetti, stopped back in for about half the show. That was interesting. And this is officially the last segment before the Pirates home opener on Friday. We got a couple more stories. Our first one is a sad story. A 17-year-old 4.0 student was stabbed to death at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. He apparently died in his twin brother's arms. Austin Metcalf was attacked after telling a teen from a different school that he was sitting in the wrong spot, and then the other teen, Carmelo Anthony, apparently just stabbed him. He was arrested for first-degree murder. Just a terrible, terrible, sad situation. I guess they were identical twins. I just don't even want to read it. It's very sad. Imagine just being a father or a mother or a parent in a situation like this, never getting answers. You drop your kid off at a track meet, think he's safe. This happens. Sad, sick. Okay. Nancy Pelosi, she had a nice quote in 1996 about tariffs. Let me read it. She was actually on the House floor speaking. This is from Mays Moore, by the way, on X. On this day, you remember Congress could have drawn the line to say to the President of the United States, do something about this U.S.-China trade relationship that is a job loser for the United States. And Mays Moore says, 30 years later, the annual trade deficit is now approximately $300 billion annually with China. Our politicians did nothing to stop this. They sold out America. Now politicians, including Pelosi, are saying that not only China, but all countries should be able to tariff us, and we shouldn't be able to respond in kind. I guess that's what happens when you've been in government for 40 years and made a couple $1 million. Oh, oy vey. All right, I got to read this tweet from Matt Forney on X, talking about the stock market collapsing. I don't care about your fake and gay stock market collapsing, boomers. You locked me into a decaying commie block apartment over the flu and cost me my job. I'm nearly 40 in the worst job market in nearly a century because of your greed and your selfishness. I voted for this. Hey, the stock market will go back up. I mean, hey, might as well buy now while it's low. Okay, what else?
Exactly. You know what? I thought that as well. Why aren't people buying now? Everything is as low.
Unless you're in like your 60s or 70s, you just
right.
retired or something. Yeah, you have nothing to really worry about.
Right.
Just ride it out. I promise you, just like Trump said in 20s, it'll be fine.
The market has never not fluctuated. It's going to fluctuate. It's going to go back up.
Especially when we're revamping our entire economic system. Okay, last topic. We covered this on Monday. Virginia Guffey. Apparently she's taking a turn for the better. Apparently, she survived renal failure and now may make it. Unless, of course, she gets hit by another school bus while lying in her hospital bed. or on the drive home. Or if a rogue doctor gets into her IV or PICC line. I don't know. Maybe she could hang herself in the hospital. That could happen. Or she could be shot by the police in a few weeks like the Pizzagate kid not too long ago.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll shoot herself on a park bench after, like Vince Foster. Remember the Clintons? The Clintons do have a connection to Guffey and Epstein. I'm not sure if anyone's unearthed that fact yet. Anyway, the point is, Virginia Guffey is still alive, but she's not out of the woods yet because she's an Epstein victim. What are we gonna do here? They're all gonna have their lives in danger 24/7. She was hit by a school bus. Come on. All right. Now, Pirates home opener. Mark Fogel. He's going to throw out the first pitch on Friday. And for those of you who don't remember who Mark Fogel is, he was arrested in Russia 4 years ago and held there because he brought medical marijuana into the country. And those of you, alarm bells ringing. Brittany Griner. Hey, Brittany Griner did the same thing. She did. And it was with an illegal vape pen. But she got to come back. Mark Fogel was left there for 4 years by the Biden administration. Now, I'm all for bringing back a woman before a man, but one had a vape pen that was illegal and one had a medical marijuana card that was legal. And the Biden administration abandoned the teacher. They abandoned Mark Fogel. When they're supposed to be pro-teacher, I'm just saying. All right. So opening day is Friday, Ryan. You know what I love about baseball that's different than other sports?
What's that?
The coaches, I guess they're called managers, wear the uniforms.
Yeah, I like that. That's the only sport. You're right. Nobody.
And also, they had player managers until, was Pete Rose a player manager? I tried to look it up.
I think so.
So they had player managers into the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, did you ever see those old men that go to the Steeler games and they wear the knee braces and they toss the pigskin around? Like, why are you wearing the knee brace?
Right.
Do MLB managers wear cleats or they wear shoes?
Oh, that's a good question. I think cleats. Let me ask you this, Joe. I mean, obviously that they are the only of the major four sports, at least. Which one of the other three major pro sports here in America would you like to see the coach dress like the player? Think about it for a minute.
Tomlin in a helmet and shoulder
You
pads.
want to see now, Coach Cowher, I think, was a good shoulder pad and helmet kind of guy.
You wouldn't have been able to keep him off the field.
Yeah, you're
you know,
right.
Tomlin snuck on the field and almost made that tackle on the kickoff.
Yeah.
You would have had to seriously hold back Bill Cowher
Yeah.
for making a tackle like that.
I mean, even look at ever seen maybe Phil Jackson walking around in his NBA shorts, or a hockey player. Come on, a hockey coach in the pads.
That would be very fun. I feel like hockey's the only other sport where you could even have like player coaches.
Yeah, right.
Tomlin can't pay D-back anymore. Let's be real.
I wouldn't think.
But so the Yankees come down Friday. Beautiful stadium. It's supposed to rain. You can't catch a break here. Can't catch a break. But they looked good yesterday. I mean, I don't know. They sent back down, what's the closer? They sent him down to
David
AAA.
Bednar. Yeah. He needed it, though.
Did he have a 30 ERA of 36?
He did. It's true. It's 100% true. He needed to go down. You know what? They have, as you said, they have some good things going on. They have some bad things going on. That back end of the bullpen certainly is going to be an issue for this team. But as far as starting pitching and even the hitting is starting to come along, O'Neal Cruz right now leads the league in stolen bases with 6 after 7 games. So, I mean, there are a few bright shining spots, but still that bullpen is going to be rough this season, especially only 6 or 7 games in. You know that you still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
You hope that it gets better.
If their starting pitching can stay injury free,
Yes.
I'm not talking about going on the 10-day DL or missing a start or two. Injury free, I think we can make the playoffs. I'm going to make the prediction right now. I don't know if they'll win the division. I think they're going to compete. They're 2-6 right now, right? Or 2-5?
2-5, yeah.
Okay. I think they're going to compete the whole year. You look at Cincinnati, you look at this division, it doesn't look as good as others.
Right.
I mean,
and they have the starting pitching to compete. And there's no two ways about it. And then you look back at older teams that weren't great teams, but they had great starting pitching. You think of that Diamondback squad that had Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. The team wasn't that great, but if you have starting pitching, you should be able to stay competitive.
Once you get into the fall in September, you got a nice 3-game series.
Yeah.
You put your best 3 pitchers out there. If you even need the third one, 2-0, you can win 2-0.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
And I do know we only got about a minute, Joe. One other thing that I wanted to say about sports was this. Yes, I'm very excited about the Pirates opening day. I always am. I haven't attended since 2001. It was the first game ever at PNC Park. But the one thing I do want to talk about for just a moment is the Steelers, guys. Just a reminder, it's been 3,000 days since the Steelers last won a playoff game, Joe. 3,000 days. So swish that around in your mouth and see how it tastes.
So that's 2,000 days before this show even kicked off.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on. We are an elite franchise and organization. No two ways about it. I think we're the Yankees of football. But at the end of the day, guys, it's been 3,000 days.
Last question. Would you rather have the Steelers the last 3,000 days or the Pirates the last 3,000 days?
I would rather have the Steelers any day, but I love my Pirates as well.
All right. Like I said, opening day is on Friday. I think it's at 4 o'clock. Lord knows the rain.
4-1-2. It's on at 4:12.
4-1-2. Okay. Yes. Wow. Great idea. I wonder who thought that one up. Go to the game. Enjoy Bucco season. Enjoy baseball in general this summer because America is back. We'll be back here on Monday, same time, 5 to 6 p.m. Until then, I'm Joe Corsi signing off for Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM, WBVP.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WNBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WNBA.
You're listening to